Formula 1 in 2022 is going to be different. A good different. For starters, Mercedes and Red Bull may not dominate all season, though after day 3 in Barcelona testing, Mercedes were 1, 2, 3, 4, so things maybe not that different in that instance. But anywho, today I'm going to be talking about something different in 2022, and that is going to be the young drivers who I believe will be able to fight at the front of the grid for many years to come, and I call these drivers the next generation. My name is Chris, welcome back to CFRacing, and enjoy the video. Hello everybody, what's going on? Chris here, and just like the intro stated, I'm going to be talking about the 4 drivers on the current Formula 1 grid that I believe have the brightest futures in my opinion. These drivers include Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and Lando Norris. I got some good points to back these up, so there's no better place to start than taking a brief look at each individual driver's junior careers. Let's start off by taking a look at everybody's favorite full-time Twitch streamer and part-time Formula 1 driver, Lando Norris. Lando had a relatively successful junior career where the lowest he's ever finished in a championship was 3rd place. He competed in 18 championships and he won 10 of them. In 2017, he finished 2nd in the Macau Grand Prix, only losing to Joel Eriksson, but beat other notable drivers like Callum Ilott, Dan the Goat Ticktum, Mick Schumacher, and Guan Yu Zhou. He also won the European Formula 3 Championship that year, and this time he finished ahead of Joel Eriksson, so I guess you can say that Lando Norris ended up losing the battle, but he did win the war by the end. In 2018, Lando Norris competed in the F2 Championship and finished 2nd to somebody who we will get into a little bit later on in this video. And lastly, since 2019, Lando Norris has been the poster boy for McLaren's Formula 1 team and has achieved 3 podiums, 1 pole position so far with them, with a maximum of what I would say the 3rd best car in the grid, which is very impressive to say the least. Going into 2022, Lando Norris looks like he's going to be the team leader for McLaren going along right now, as he beat Daniel Ricciardo last year, and by a long shot as well. So it's looking like Lando Norris is going to be the team leader for McLaren in the future and going on. Plus, he just got a big boy contract extension, so it's great for Lando Norris, and if he gets the right car, I would not be surprised if he can challenge for a World Drivers' Championship in the future. Now we are talking about the driver who won his first ever race at Red Bull after Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton decided to play in the sand in Bahrain, and a driver who I believe has the most natural talent than anybody in pretty much Formula 1 history besides Alessio Deletta, and this is going to be Max Verstappen. Just like Lando Norris, Max Verstappen absolutely dominated his junior career, competing in 33 championships and winning 24 of them. Granted, most of them were karting, but still, and don't forget, 33 was Max Verstappen's race number for pretty much his entire career so far until he won the championship in 2021. Now he's number 1. He only competed in 2 single-seater championships before being called up to F1, but in the 2 years, he won the Zandvoort Master Series, and in Formula 3, he finished 3rd behind Tom Blomqvist, I'm sorry if I said his name wrong, and future Formula 1 race winner Esteban Ocon. In 2015, he got called up to Toro Rosso beside Carlos Sainz actually, and he did a very good job. He beat Carlos Sainz throughout the year, but now he did compete for his first ever Formula 1 title, and he beat the greatest driver pretty much of all time statistically wise in Lewis Hamilton, which is quite interesting. Since joining Formula 1 in 2015, Max Verstappen has 20 wins, 60 podiums, 13 pole positions, and 1 World Drivers' Championship. To me, Max Verstappen likely has the brightest future out of any driver on this list, but you never know what might happen in the future. Red Bull might give him a bad car, and he might end up as a 1-time World Drivers' Championship for the rest of his career. Every driver is pretty much limited by the factor of their car, so we don't know what will happen in the future. We previously just spoke of Lewis Hamilton as he was challenging Max Verstappen in 2021 for a World Drivers' Championship, but we are not speaking of Lewis. We are speaking of his teammate for potentially a couple years to come, George Russell. And in George Russell's junior career, just like Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, he absolutely dominated. In 19 championships back in the day, he won 13 of them. In 2014, George Russell won the F4 championship. In 2016, in his rookie F3 year, he only finished behind Maximilian Gunther and a very nice driver named Lance Stroll, who absolutely dominated the championship that year, and I believe after that, Lance Stroll was promoted to Formula 1. In 2017, George Russell won Formula 3 championship, followed by in 2018, George Russell won the Formula 2 championship in quite dominant fashion, to say the least. In 2019, George Russell got the call up to Williams and remained there until the end of 2021, where he will be partnering Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes for 2022. From 2019 and 2020, it was very hard to distinguish how good George Russell was compared to other drivers, as in 2019, that Mercedes was a boat. In 2019, that Williams was a boat, and in 2020, the Williams, I would say, was better. He was actually able to get into Q2 more than once, so that is quite impressive, but still, the car really wasn't that good and still finished dead last in the constructor standings. In 2021, Williams actually had a pretty good car for George Russell, as he was able to, get a podium, which was very impressive. Granted, there wasn't a race. He was able to qualify, I believe, P2 or P3 in Russia, which once again was very impressive. And also, don't forget, in 2020, when George Russell filled in for Lewis Hamilton, he basically beat Valtteri Bottas in just one weekend, which, I mean, I'm not the highest on Bottas, but still, that's pretty sad for Bottas, if you got to say the least. In George Russell's 3 seasons of Formula 1, he has 1 podium and 19 points, but considering he was driving a boat on wheels for 2 out of the 3 years, I would say that is quite impressive. Now it's time for my favorite driver on the grid, Charles Leclerc. In his junior career, Charles competed in 15 championships and won most of them, but most notably, he won back-to-back F2 and GP3 championships by a landslide in 2016 and 2017. Yes, I said GP3 because it was not renamed to F3 back then. Charles got the promotion up to Formula 1 in 2018 beside Marcus Ericsson, and I would say absolutely wiped the floor with him. And the destruction of Marcus Ericsson led to Ericsson pretty much getting fired and going to IndyCar, and that was actually enough to have Charles Leclerc get promoted to Ferrari in 2019. In 2019, Charles Leclerc had the most poles out of anybody in Formula 1, and that was when Mercedes was by far the most dominant car, so that is quite impressive there. He had 2 wins, 1 at Spa, 1 at Monza. Say illegal engine all you want, we don't care. And yeah, he had a very good season in 2019. In fact, he even beat the 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel in his first season in Ferrari, which before that, Sebastian Vettel was challenging Lewis Hamilton for a title in 2017 and 2018. In 2020, it was a very bad season for Ferrari, but Leclerc got 2 podiums and arguably could have had a 3rd if he didn't forget to brake in the last turn in Turkey. He had a very great season there, and that season in 2020 basically got Sebastian Vettel kicked out of Ferrari for not performing good enough, and pretty much had Charles Leclerc as the team lead for Ferrari into many more years, giving him a very big boy contract extension, I believe till 2025 or something like that. In 2021, Leclerc had a very good season, and Leclerc arguably could have had 2 race wins, 1 in Monaco and 1 in Silverstone. I mean, Silverstone, don't even get me started on that one. That one really made me mad. I mean, he didn't start in Monaco at all, but other than that, still pretty good. Ever since 2018, when Leclerc joined Formula 1, he has had 13 podiums and 9 pole positions. I believe the highest he's ever finished in his championship was P4 or P5 in 2019. He's done a very good job, and I think he has probably the 2nd brightest future out of any of the 4 drivers we spoke of in this list. Now, going into 2022, every one of these 4 drivers looks to be in a good seat for the upcoming rule change. And looking into the future, each of these drivers is looking to be the respective team leaders for many years to come. After testing, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes look to be the top teams going into Bahrain, and if performance stays as it is now, we could be looking at a 4-way title fight between Leclerc, Verstappen, Lando Norris, and George Russell. While this video isn't about these other drivers, don't also count out Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, and Sergio Perez, who are teammates to the 4 that we have been speaking about this whole video so far, and they once again could also challenge for a title, so I would not count any of them out as well. The future is bright for all 4 of these drivers, as they are all suited into top teams for 2022 and beyond, and all 4 of these drivers are very young as well. The oldest are Max and Charles, who will be 24 at the start of the season, so they basically got like 16 more years, to say the least, maybe until they're 40, so we could be seeing these guys around for a long time. If all things go as planned and the 2022 regulations make racing more competitive and closer, there's no doubt in my mind that we could have the next Hamilton, Verstappen, Alonso, Alonso type rivalry for years to come. If you guys are still watching about a completely unbiased Ferrari fan waffle on about the future of Formula 1, then please go ahead, comment who you guys believe will be the most successful driver within the next decade. And with that being said, everybody, thank you all so much for the support on the channel recently. Wouldn't be here without you guys. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed and have a great day.